Alison, thank you so much for attending today's event and for speaking so eloquently on the subject of mature age employment. So what for you are the main barriers facing older workers in the Australian labour market?
Well, I think there's two groups of older workers in this question. There are those older workers that are out of the labour market and looking to get back in, and either real or perceived barriers to re-entry. It could be following an early retirement, where they felt the grass was greener on the other side and then look wistfully back and try to re-enter the labour market. It could be from a career break. Usually we find older women may have had a significant period of time out of the labour market and then looking to get back in. So the barriers are around knowing exactly where to look and who to talk to, and how to package your skills, your knowledge and your experience in such a way that it will be perceived as marketable to hiring managers. And then of course you've got the group of older workers who are actually employed in organisations, and the barriers in the labour market for employed older workers could be, in some instances, access to equality in terms of training and development, professional opportunities, access to promotion, and those sorts of things. So the barriers are out there, the awareness is out there, and certainly mature age workers and employers need to both take a role in addressing those barriers.
So what would your advice be to employers? If there were a few things you say employers must do, what would those things be?
Well, we work with employers to actually do, if you like, an employment life cycle audit, right from the very beginning of how and where and who are you attracting to the organisation, and do walls exist in that regard. So a very simple and tangible illustration of that would be if you go to the careers website of an organisation and see really youthful images, or Anglo-Celtic faces staring out at you. It's not depicting the diversity of our population or the diversity of the applicant pool. So that's a very sort of explicit example, but there are many walls that can exist. Another one with an organisation we worked with quite high volume recruitment were the psychometric tests and the online case studies that they asked individuals to complete even before ever meeting someone in person. So that would look very different for a 27-year-old applicant facing that challenge than it would to a 57-year-old who's been with one employer for 30 years and has never done a psychometric test or a behavioural online interview case study or whatever it might be. So starting with who are you attracting, what is your recruitment process, to filter to a short list, who is on your panel, is their age balance represented, and then looking at induction and orientation. Is it actually age neutral? Are we removing any barriers for older workers to get through that? And then there's the ongoing management, leadership, promotional opportunity, right the way through actually to transition. What we find is that organisations spend an awful lot of money when they need to exit individuals through change and transformation. What they're not doing is personalising that for the older workers and acknowledging they need more support. On average it will take a year for somebody over 50 to find new employment once they're exited from the workforce. So employers need to heed that and ensure that they've got tailored specialist advice and support for those mature workers that are impacted by change.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Allison. I think